Hi everybody, this is Odd Samurai, and today I'm gonna be reacting to the Summer Hikaru died episode 9, because last week they took a break, I think because something else took up the time slot that this show has. So we're back. And I wish I could have reacted to it yesterday, but I just wasn't able to. And yeah, so last episode, well, we didn't have as much of, focus on the character writing as usual, but, it was time to get more into the lore of the town and the mysteries that are, brewing within it. Hikaru gave his grandpa the note that Yoshiki found, and it didn't really help. He said some cryptic stuff, the village being a murder village, and that was definitely worrying. And then he talked about like Hichi-san could have been like the head that is used to ward off spirits in the mountain, but that's just what I'm guessing. He doesn't actually explain. And then we had Yoshiki and Hikaru and go to a library to research on their town. Kubitachi? Well, I think Kubitachi let me read those lines again, because I'm not sure if Kubitachi is still the name of the village, or that used to be the name. Because when the daughter of Matsuda comes in, Yoshiki says that they're from Kubitachi, so why would he say that? Oh no, here. Yeah, it's what Kibogayama used to be called. So right now it's called Kibogayama, but they changed the name after the Meiji era? We don't get that confirmed, but yeah, why did they change the name? That's suspicious. And then once they put all the maps together of the nearby towns, it seemed like it forms the silhouette of a person. So that's gotta mean something. And it's gotta be related to the worship of Nonuki-sama. So they talked to Matsuda's daughter. Yeah. She says that the villagers gave Nonuki-sama a particular offering. A god willing to bless us in exchange for a particular offering. And Hikaru is like, what? What do you mean by offering? And Yoshiki is like, used to me? So she answers that question, but not Hikaru's. And I'm also like, what kind of offering? Like a human offering? What are we talking about here? But maybe she just doesn't know, so no way to answer that. Maybe she just was never told. Or she does, but she doesn't want to answer. So then she tells them that Hajime and the others might have known something. So Hajime, I think it's the older guy with the mustache that we see talking to Tanaka later. You know, part of the Elder Supernatural Council. And his dad, I think his name is like Takeda? Maybe. I can't find the line where she says his name. But yeah, that might be the old guy with the glasses. And then when she bids the boys goodbye, she says like, I didn't really, you know, get along well or thought highly of my mother. But when she passed, I think I'm realizing just how precious she was to me. And Yoshiki really has a reaction to that. And remembers how Hikaru used to feel when his own dad died. And he actually looks over at, you know, this Hikaru. And I think it might be like a combination of like, oh wow, you know, like trying to see if he has any sort of reaction to Matsura's daughter and her grief, as well as being like, wow, you know, yeah, there's no trace of what the old Hikaru used to feel in that regard. So I like that we, of course, you know, we continue on Hikaru's journey. Sure, I was gonna say like, we don't know if he'll change, but I guess I can still call it a journey in regards to feeling sympathy / empathy for others. And I know they're not synonyms, but just, you know, either of them I think would be progress, but sympathy would be first, I feel. And Yoshiki is like, well, like, do you really understand what you caused by killing old lady Matsura? And well, Hikaru can't lie. He really is like, well, I really don't. And he tries to say something. Like maybe he was gonna say like, I want to eventually. But Yoshiki just like cuts him off. And he's like, I don't think that's a good sign. Instead of being like, if you want to learn, I can be there with you and try to help you out on, you know, the long run as you encounter these new feelings. Or instead he's just like already resigning himself that Hikaru might kill someone else. So he's like, yeah, I'll be with you shouldering that burden. So then we get who I assume is, we do get his name, Hajime. And Tanaka gives him something. I don't know what it is. Let me see exactly what he says. Think of it as a good luck charm. Okay. I gotta try and remember that. Oh, and then he meets Yoshiki. And that was so nerve-wracking. I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, but still, I'm a little scared. And we have that very strange scene of Yoshiki laughing as Tanaka lets him play with the hamster. And yeah, Tanaka gets some good info just from interacting with him. Although he's still not sure exactly how Hikaru is, operating as a being right now. And then he gets a call from someone from his own work. Then we have the last scene with Yoshiki and Hikaru at the cafe. And basically, Yoshiki is made aware that the piece of Hikaru that he has is very, very important. If something happens to it, Hikaru kind of will just cease to function. So the weight of what Hikaru has given to him is starting to sink in. Then we have a supernatural creature show up, and because of the bells, I was thinking that it was maybe Tanaka's what he call it, like hunting dog, but not necessarily. Though if it's not, you can't blame me for thinking it is. Hikaru can't do anything to it. Also, we did see in an earlier scene that Hikaru can now feel when he gets hurt. The pain is a lot more pronounced now. So, yeah, it seems like Hikaru is not gonna be able to fight other supernatural beings anymore. So that's pretty bad. So Yoshiki tries to drag him out of the cafe, but he can't, and Rie steps in. And that's how the episode ends. Also, I didn't really talk about the scene with Yoshiki and Achan, but I think I would be repeating myself, and it's just, is the start of the big thing in the episodes in regard to the character insight in regards to Hikaru's lack of care for what he did to Achan. And that later on showing up with Matsura's daughter. So, yeah. There's also like people getting possessed by supernatural creatures and doing some awful stuff, similar to what happened with Yoshiki when the ghost, the hair ghost, possessed him and he was strangling Hikaru. So that's also another thing to have present here. But okay. Also, to be transparent, I was spoiled on how this episode ends. We're gonna have Tanaka make contact with Hikaru. So I'm not gonna be surprised, but I'm still gonna be like, oh my god, scared. So yeah. Okay, let's get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, starting with flashback. Visiting Hikaru's dad's grave. Interesting. I wonder if Hikaru acting silly like that was like a coping mechanism for him.また会えるならこの先は一瞬もう一寸の隙をすぐ全部覚えていこう目を閉じ合うたびまぶたで日差して言ってれるならまたここで争うOh, okay, good. Oh, Rie already knows that Hikaru is the one Yoshiki was talking about with her. Yes, that was big help. Huh. That was where Tanaka made his bell hunting dog. Hmm. Yeah, so it's both. Does she know that Hikaru was most likely Nonuki-sama? No. It's okay, Hikaru. Relax. Yeah, that's true. Cute! It's been a while since we had him do that. We're trying to figure that out. I like that Rie is being very understanding right now. Oh. Oh? No, this was cool. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Mm. No. Mm. Oh. Rie. Okay, I'm glad that she. Oh shit! I freaking knew it. Okay, I'll talk about Ria later. Oh, it went into him? Oh, whoa. He's getting its memories. Shit. But Yoshiki's okay with it. Mm. Mm. I I think Yoshiki would have preferred to be left alone right here. Mm. Mm. Uh-huh. Hmm. Okay, so it's not the old guy with glasses we've seen. Mm-hmm. Uh, oh? Okay. Good thing he brought up her name. But we... Mm. Oh. Uh-huh. Oh. What? Oh, damn. Now what? Ria is not here. Ah! Oh my god! Boys, move! Oh. Ah! That's why he has the scar in the ending. Oh shit! I predicted it and still. Oh my god. That's such a horrible sight. Oh my god, poor Yoshiki too. I... Even though I theorized it, I cannot believe that was actually what happened. What the hell? Like, I'm not freaking out more because going by the ending, he'll get it reattached. But, oh my god! Here. Okay. Man, if it wasn't for me paying very close attention to that part of the ending, I would have never come up with, you know, the possibility of that happening. Wow. Okay. How the hell do we proceed from here? Okay. That was, man. Man, oh. If you don't watch the ending, or like you just, you know, you didn't try to connect the dots. Oh, like, imagine the shock I would be. It's still though, like, seeing it happen, I was still like quite surprised. Oh my god, bro, the sickening smile that Tanaka has as he says, "I'm glad our paths have finally crossed," with his dead eyes. Oh, it's so scary, brother. Yeah, because, like, seeing Tanaka come in and stop the old man, I did not feel relief. Tanaka is definitely a presence that makes you feel like, oh, we were in a bad place, now we're in a worse place. Okay. So I'm glad that Rie met and interacted with Hikaru so that she's able to form a more informed opinion on, you know, the type of person that he is, and see that he's more well, that he's not the exact same as, you know, regular impurity. That said, though, that does bring a wrench into what the impurity that was passing off as her husband means for her in regards to what it represented before for me. It's just, you know, like, yeah, we could have figured that Hikaru was different, and that he was probably Nonoki-sama, and Nonoki-sama is treated very differently than any other impurity. But still, it just kind of feels like, you know, I mean, she still wants him to stop from bringing Yoshiki fully into the other world. Give me a second. Okay. So I guess this could be seen as like, even if Hikaru, you know, was like the most perfect and, you know, like in terms of like the allegory of like Rie not like, you know, impurities being representative of like LGBTQ people. Like, even if Hikaru is the most like perfect and ideal gay person in a straight cis person's eyes, you know, and she's still like, oh, you know, you are good, but I still don't want you bringing this other young man into your world. Otherwise, there will be no salvation for him, and just completely trying to take away Yoshiki's agency. You know, maybe he wants to, if it means he'll be with Hikaru. So I think this is definitely like a, you know, the slippery slope of Rie being somewhat accepting, but still like a part of her being like, you know, you can be you, just, you know, be you with other people that are already like you. Don't, you know, change Yoshiki, this young boy, into what you are. So I guess it still fits. Just, you know, had to make some adjustments. I liked also the scene with Yoshiki going to the makeshift grave for Hikaru. And at first I thought he was like a lash out a little bit, that Hikaru had no, you know, no place being there. But he actually responded quite maturely, which I guess shows his growth. I say I guess because, like, I'm not fully sure if it's coming from like a healthy place. So I'm hoping, or rather I'm wanting it to be that way. But I think it is. Especially when he says, you know, like, I don't think you need to force yourself to be human, and I wouldn't want you to be, you know, anything than what you are. Which I think is really beautiful. That Yoshiki won't try to change Hikaru, which is, I think, relevant to, you know, how I was talking about Rie, before. And Yoshiki is the only one who will accept him for who he is. He doesn't need to pretend. Yoshiki will be the home that he needs. But I think you know, that's that small part that Yoshiki still can't get himself to fully open up and be vulnerable. Like when Hikaru asked him if he liked Uchi Hikaru, and you know, when he's asked why, he's like, oh, you're afraid to pick at my naked body. So that's, you know, it's pretty obvious with that he means like any, you know, attracted romantically and physically. And even though Uchi Hikaru can never hear it, Yoshiki just cannot bring himself to admit it. He doesn't deny it, but he just says, you know, I don't want to talk about it. It doesn't matter. Which I think it definitely does. Because it colors his relationship with current Hikaru. And it's just, you know, part of who Yoshiki is. So he's still trying to repress that part of himself. Not as much as before, but still, it's still there. And I do think that, you know, he's lying to himself when he says that looking at Hikaru's body, he doesn't feel a thing. But I even now, despite all that they've been through, these two, he still doesn't want to run the risk of Hikaru, you know, like rejecting him or looking at him differently if he says those words out loud. Granted, back in episode 1, he does say, like, you know, yeah, I like you. But, like, I feel like things have changed between then and now, between these two. I feel like he didn't really mean that. He was, well, I mean, he wasn't thinking about this Hikaru when he said that. And I'm pretty sure that Yoshiki didn't interpret the question as like, do you like me romantically? But it's interesting that Yoshiki here says, you and I got our own thing, right? We don't gotta follow the rules. And to a certain extent, yeah, Yoshiki is being, you know, truthful in regards to what he thinks. But at the end of the day, he's still holding himself back. And here, at the end, he's like, for his sake, I'll give him everything I got. And that, you know, I wish Yoshiki would think of himself a little more. But I do like that he also thinks we could find a place where he can be himself. Now, I'm not sure if he's including himself in staying with Hikaru on this new place that they could find. But I'm hoping that's what he meant. Just the two of them. I would guess so, because later on my favorite scene of the episode, when Hikaru is like, maybe if I just go back to the mountain, everything will be fine. And Yoshiki just starts listing like all the things they can do so that he doesn't have to do that. Like, in part is because, you know, of Yoshiki's own needs and want for Hikaru to stay. But more so, he genuinely does care about Hikaru's feelings, even if he knows and emphasizes that they're not the same as the humans. He knows that Hikaru is very much capable of feeling strong emotions. And he feels very strongly about having found a place that, you know, where he doesn't feel lonely anymore. So he wouldn't want to leave. At least not, you know, not, you know, where he, not to leave so that he stays alone. You're basically sacrificing his own happiness for everyone else's. The music in that scene was also really, really good. And just the framing of Yoshiki and Hikaru in there was really helped the emotional intent. And that thanks at the end. No, that was really sweet. So, okay. They get to the old man's place. And he apparently is looking for the Kurebayashis. I don't know if it's specifically her, but by hearing the last name, that's what gets them in. Because she's a real medium. He wanted her to help him with the impurity that got a hold of him. And he makes a really big deal about whatever the Indo's biggest sin is. And for one, whatever the Indos did in the past. Like, that's messed up that they're still blaming them in the present for something their ancestors did. But I'm so curious what it is. Like, it might just be like they made a mistake, an accident, and then that escalated into something really bad. Like, I'm leaning right now towards not being, you know, malicious in any way. But it just, you know, from one action. Maybe from not wanting to worship Nonuki-sama. A lot of bad things start happening. Now, he called it a curse, but I don't necessarily think it's that. The old guy even says, like, you don't even know what the name Indo means, or something like that. And never wonder why your name is Indo. Very interesting. I did not expect that. You know, the Indos having such a bad reputation. And that's why they go into the mountain to cleanse it. They take responsibility for their family's past. Okay. Maybe that's what Grandpa Indo was talking about last episode. And yeah, Tanaka shows up and... well, that happened. I feel bad for Hikaru. Oh my... I wonder if he's feeling the pain. He doesn't seem to be conscious though. Yeah, poor Yoshiki. Jesus. Like, he was visiting OG Hikaru's grave this episode, and now he has to see new Hikaru basically die. That's gotta add to the trauma. Like, just look at his expression. He's... no, poor boy. But yeah, so the bell spirit was Tanaka's doing. It was his hunting dog. And the method to which he gets the info seems to be painful, but effective. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for this episode. So if you think I am missed out on talking about something, leave it in the comments below, and like and subscribe. Till next time, see ya.